themselves heading over to the border.
So we'll be moving into border, as you say, and the first ban, of course, from Mkers will be a thermite, actually. So that is an interesting ban. We haven't actually seen Mkers go to border yet during PG Nationals. I'm not sure on CL calls if they went there before, but we'll see what BDS want to ban. They have banned Buck here before, which I thought was an interesting ban.
It's the thing about the Buck ban is, yeah, there's a couple of positions where it can be really versatile. There's a couple of places where you can tear up all of the soft floor that Border seems to offer, but at the same time, when you know you're a team that's consistently pretty good when it comes to having the control of having the soft destruction, Zephyr, you've got the kind of balance and breakdown of some of the other, there's a lot of soft destruction, I think, is what the point I'm trying to make here. And there's a lot of ways that a team of this caliber can make it work. And I guess dropping Buck, it loses grenades, it loses that kind of upside down way of holding it from underneath. But at the same time, that doesn't really slow a lot of these teams.
Well, it is going to be the Dokkaebi and then the Echo ban coming up from BDS, and you leave Mkers. I'm going to guess with a Mirror ban to remain here. So actually no Valkyrie ban coming up from BDS, which is something they've banned a couple of times already here.
Well, and there's the follow-up with Mirror, which is a pretty standard ban. And I think, as we said, this is a fair set of 4 bans. Thermite's going to make getting into the kind of armory wall a little bit tougher and a little bit messier. It gives the advantage to someone that might be a bit bold in the side of CCTV, able to swing around and drop some of the pellets or just interrupt the process, which is elongated when you are Hibana rather than the Thermite. It also gives a little bit more of an option for the Bandit to be able to trick alongside the Kaid if they decide to aggressively hold it. However, there is always the worry in that wall, and I guess on the opposite side, on the B point wall, of just having the ground beneath your feet completely torn apart.
Yeah, no, it definitely does. It definitely does. We'll see how Armory Lockers and Archives as a border defense goes down to start with. We're actually going to see the Cade come through, but a quick 6-bit compilation is going to bring the Pulse instead. So, we'll see how this works out for Mkers, but it looks like a pretty heavy roam strategy coming out from them, because they do have 2 Nitros up on the board. In fact, maybe 3 if Torok is bringing one as well. And, it'll be interesting. I think Border is kind of the bread and butter pudding of Rainbow Six comp right now as well.
Yeah, like you ask for a lot of pros' opinions on it, and it's the new Oregon. It's the new place where big teams come to kind of get tested. In a way, for me, so is Clubhouse. Just Clubhouse has a bit more width to it, so the attackers stumble and struggle a little bit more, but the sheer pace that even a bit of a lackluster team can find themselves in and amongst the grounds of boredom, just play a little bit more into this, bit of battle where strategies are known, strategies are similar, and it's seeing how they can kind of make it work. M870 Bandit shotgun.
I like it.
Do you? Why do you like it?
It's a very, very powerful pump, and there's like a lot of those very, very close angles that you can hold down with it. It does depend on where he wants to play it here, but I don't mind it. I don't mind a bit of Bandit shotgun. It's particularly useful on somewhere like Cafe in the bathroom there, and that kind of corner angle on Pixel. So, there are places for it. I think it does have its moments.
One operator that I really like, and I'm going to highlight and hope they get some work, is RX on the Nomad. Just in terms of controlling the space on a map like Border, where, well, it just allows you to lock down the 2 staircases and force a little bit more of an uncomfortable rotate. This is what I was talking about earlier on. Getting control from underneath. Even when Buck's off the board, and even when Buck's on the board, you don't really necessarily need it, because a skilled player with most guns can still find a semblance of control. Shaiko, talking of skilled players and skilled guns, finds the opening frag, and if I'm honest with the way he has been playing recently, it's probably going to be the first of many.
Yeah, just getting that vertical control completely. We'll not see that Bandit shotgun come through to any fruition. We'll see drones come out from onto AC. Armory wall should be able to get opened up now, and Cade not really able to do too much about that, as the Bandit is now off the board. So things going pretty swingingly to the heavier BDS. We'll see how much control they have gained for themselves. So they've got the armory control now, and they have got that outside of AC control, so they should be able to split the site in half.
Well, Cade gets droned and decides to swing around to the opposite side there and waits on the corner of the door to try and catch RX on the route inside. In the meantime, Renshiro on the far back of point towards the long corridor side finds another body. The C4 doesn't catch anybody, but the Nomad does catch Kaid as they swing around and get a little bit of an unexpectedly wide firefight. In the meantime, Renshiro is cleared up small, and Elation at least finds panics from the C4, but Rafal is getting the plant down, and Shaiko puts it to a 4 versus 1. Diffuser down in a post-plant situation, and in the central stairs with an entire bead and beat on your position, and Thatcher deciding to go for the pistol. Well, that is a BDS round right there.
Yeah, BDS hit round number 1, a very, very decisive victory for them coming in. I think Mkers just had absolutely zero info on what was going on there. They had the pulse from below, so they had a little bit of info on what was going outside the armory wall, but with that blind nitro coming out from the Cade and from Torok there, it just seems like they don't really have a lot of info on where the positions actually are from BDS. Losing that bandit early on as well, we often say that the entry pick, whoever gets that, the round generally swings in their way.
Yeah, especially on a map like this where it can be so quick and can, you know, the ability to be able to offer cover to your teammates. Find yourself in a new position where you can rotate, and I think this was kind of exemplified in the match where it was SSG versus Atheris in the play day yesterday on Border, where there was one absolutely stand-up player on the side of the Mexican team of Atheris who just can repeatedly find his way around onto points and find his way from, you know, the point into CCTV behind them, find a kill, rotate down the central stairs, find a way back around, and that kind of snappy playstyle plays well into having a man advantage because it allows you to double up gunfire. It allows you to double up cover without really being too threatened on a lot of the rotates. They've got to be paying a lot of attention to be able to cap them, such as the Nomad that we saw on AC, and you know, those kind of holes become the one that matter. It's worth also just very quickly looking at how aggressively yet clinically BDS shut that down, because in the meantime of Shaiko doing what Shaiko does on the Ash, there was also obviously RX on AC, and at the same time Renshiro and Panics putting pressure from the CCTV side, and the collapse upon the point at such different intervals yet so kind of conjoined. That for me is the hallmark sign of a very talented team.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree. To be able to get that early aggression going on and be able to get that early info going on and just meet those the attackers head on can definitely shut down a lot of that early utility coming out. Something that I was going to mention that is being brought now is the Valkyrie. I think that's definitely going to solve a few of the intel issues here for Mkers. See how that does develop here for them. So far, not looking too good, honestly. With the Thermite ban, you'd expect this to be pretty defender-sided, honestly.
It's the thing about it, because everyone kind of looks at, well, there's always one hard destruction off, and how much does it play? And it's the pace of the game and the comfortability of getting that wall open, because all of it ties into that. But there is the first C4 tear and ripped from Elation, finds his second in the game as Renshiro is taken out first, and Sloppy is able to shut down the Nomad as well, with Shaiko suffering half health damage. This is the information, as you called for, coming in great dividends. The pulse from below, the Valk cams and the Maestro able to collectively shut down BDS.
Yep, well, BDS still going to start to do the work here. 3v5 situation may it be, but they're still going to get in, but Rebecca shuts him down, gets instantly traded out by Panics. He recovers the diffuser, and they still have Capital bots on the board, so they're going to deny that small office angle, and Shaiko should actually be able to make an entry in here. Or maybe a plant will go down sooner rather than later. The Maestro cam comes out. Ours is stuck in Africa here, but it's going to be down on Shaiko coming out. Ours steals the kill, and Sloppy scores a second. Panics goes down, and Mkers will take round number 2.
Great response there from Mkers to kind of read into what was missing in their play with the information. Maybe they hadn't quite woken up in the first round, but they were definitely there for the second as they were able to pick apart the firefight. And again, the movement underneath really took advantage of the pace and aggression BDS wanted to bring to CC and monitors. Vent we're going to opt for as the next point to visit after doubling down on the armory. And I'm curious to see how much of it becomes a top floor hold here for Mkers.
Interesting. Sixth bit coming out from Elation here. I'm gonna guess he's gonna put at least one of those on the vents window of the alibi there. I think it can be good. well, you guys were talking about this yesterday with Demo, about talking about like Alibi's utility isn't that strong, but I think there's a couple of places where it can be good on those kind of like hop-in windows to give you a bit of info as well.
I think also if you know you're playing against a team that is convincingly aggressive and likes to click heads fast, they're the ones that can really suffer the effects of it. Because we're not, you know, BDS, they've got a good information game when they want to bring it, but their strong suit is their ability to just completely plow through a team and tear them apart. And having something like that which stutters and stumbles them, but also gives you the kind of inroad to be able to know where they are, and again, play into the information game of Mkers, could be successful.
I think the big advantage that Mkers have here is that they haven't gone to board in the regular season of the PG National. So there's not going to be too much info. Torik's actually going to go for a spawn peek here. Hours went for his own spawn peek, but no! Be Torik. That loses his head for that one, but Panics is dead. That's Capital off the, but that's a huge pick coming out from Mkers.
Yeah, especially as we've seen them kind of bring that towards the push as well. It becomes a little bit of a big bit as they start to set them up for the smoke. And one of the things that you're often holding your head in your hands about is the use of utility by the attackers and the use of smoke plants and pushes. But BDS have generally been pretty well balanced when it comes to that. They don't really bring a huge amount. They'll probably throw a lot of soft destruction, some roam cover, and then trust the guns and the smokes of Capital. But outside of that, it's done well. And unfortunately now they've got to try and opt and operate without it.
So back are going to be holding this long angle into the office, but things still looking pretty even here. And honestly, MK is getting that kill into the Capital. As we said, that is a huge pick up indeed, but Raphael going to kill another one. Back are going to go down. That's the Maestro of the Blood. That's that powerful Aldab. Also, the Maestro Camp's not able to fill their full utility usage now. So that's a big pick from Raphael coming out. As long as he's got that angle into Archives now as well, he should be able to split the site in half. And he should be able to move quite a lot of this upstairs control.
Minute 30 on, plenty of time, and this is something that we said BDS were good at before. The split push and being able to find themselves on multiple different angles to then collapse. You can see them setting up with Shaiko above in Fountain area, trying to push steadily across towards Armor. You can see them underneath as well, trying to apply some pressure from Tellers as they also start to crack open above Sloppy. They want to get all of the vertical to allow those bodies inside Tellers on the far side and inside the bathroom to find their way across. And that is down to Shaiko and RX at this point, just to apply some more pressure, shepherd the defenders in, or just shoot them in the face. Sloppy suffers a fate, and RX sets one up as it's suddenly now a 4 versus 1.
Shaiko going to move in and do his entry work as well. Elation does find one, but instantly traded out by Shaiko. It's going to be BDS, all of them for round number 3. Much more aggressive from Mkers there, which I think might surprise a little bit because you're thinking about Mkers' position here. You think BDS, very, very aggressive team. Well, let's meet that aggression with even more aggression. And at the start, it was actually working out for them. I think maybe if they kept it up, it would have worked better for them, but not going to happen so far. We're going to move into round number 4. It is going to be a customs defense instead, this time from Mkers. This is interesting.
Especially with Vigil now on the board as well, which kind of shows that they want to lean even further, potentially, into this aggression. Obviously, they're opting and, well, re-opting as they bring back Alibi to change the operators that they're bringing. They want to change the face of how they're doing this. One thing I will point out from BDS in the previous round, compared to the round they lost, they just stormed in on the round they lost. And I think they almost underestimated Mkers.
Yeah, no, I definitely agree with that. There was a lot of intel still set up from Mkers there. We saw the Maestro cam up, and we had so much intel up still from Mkers when they did go for that rush in and try and plant. It didn't work out too well for them. I think, yeah, BDS definitely took that a little bit more methodically. We'll see how the rest of this goes down. I think that the Cade sick pick was to try and trick BDS into thinking they were going back to vents and that the Cade was the adaptation coming out from them, but they brought the Alibi again, so potentially a very heavy hold of the upstairs CCTV here.
Well, look at this. Torok is already moving around and trying to find places to just, I guess, set up the cameras. You could see he was putting a bit of thought of whether he wanted to throw them towards open or officer's side, and he's opted for one of the latter. But, you know, again, it's playing into this aggression. If they're going to hold Fountain and really stretch their defense here, I'm curious to see how much of this ground Elation is going to try and hold on to, because this is a big attempt and a very wide attempt at holding this map.
Yeah, definitely is. Lots of drones coming out from BDS and lots of info from their side as Nomad's air jabs are going to go down. and they're going to try and go for this push. It looks like it's going to be a supply plant. They're going to try and jump in this window and try and go for that plant, especially where these air jabs are set up and the fact that they haven't opened the front door up yet, so it's not going to be able to contest that. But they're going to do the work upstairs to start with, though. They need to clear the CC area, and Shaco's going to start to do that.
Well, such as the size of the huge extension they've gone with across the top floor, you can see yet again a spread out push from BDS as they try and just hold the angles and let the players fall into them. Both Sloppy and Elation are closing down towards this AC side and trying to take care of the Nomad, and if they do drop her, that is going to give them so much breathing room. In the meantime, Shaiko gets taken out closer to the point, dropped around attention as ours is above, and this is just BDS almost trying to force their way in without doing any of the work upstairs. They're going to have to be more aggressive in taking care of Mkers, because the aggression of Mkers at this minute with the huge extension and the huge play space they have is just completely locking down the controlled below. Panics at least gets the refrag against the man in CCTV, but there's still two buddies upstairs and the other two are happy to move down beneath.
Yeah, this is really good work coming out from BDS so far. They're starting to slowly eliminate the CC control, but they have lost Shaiko, they've lost their main entry so far. Ashray, I guess, not too bad, but you could argue for BDS they've lost a little bit more utility here. Drones are going out in heavy amounts, and they still know that there are people upstairs in the break room. This isn't so good, but oh my god, what was that? Elation with a great peek. Renshiro goes down, he tries to contest more, but I think Elation could be happy with this, honestly.
That's the thing. Look at the amount of time that this aggressive roam has played. Obviously, there's more utility being used to try and get him and more damage done to the shoulders of Panics. And there's also still one more body upstairs, even when they get this kill, which it's looking likely. Vigil may still be able to find some more damage against him, and then that leaves them with roughly 30 seconds. RX locks it down. Vigil rotates around with Torok almost looking like he wants to flirt with the idea of doubling down, but there is the pickup against Sloppy as well. 25 seconds on the board. They finally have vertical control, but they've got to find a way to get this diffuser down and execute below. If Baka and Torok can play this conservatively, they can really lock this down. I say as he wide swings and finds two. Baka locks it down, and it is now with the man upstairs a 1 versus 1 situation. Baka holds deep for the triple kill, and Mkers get back on level pegging.
That Alder, man, so powerful, but Baka played that so powerfully around this metal detector area. No passport push coming out whatsoever, and not really a lot of soft destruction coming out from BDS. They didn't really have the time to abuse that vertical angle like they could if there had been that heavy roam. Elation did a really good job there. You wasted so much time and wasted so much utility, and he even got a pick on the Thatcher for it, which I thought was incredible.
Yeah, the top floor hold there from Mkers kind of looked at the width and depth that they'd gone and the extension all the way out to officer's side and was like, huh. And then it really just came through because BDS stumbled. They originally went, oh, well, they've gone this big extension upstairs, let's push through. Quickly realized that they don't have as much space or as much proficiency with that push as they otherwise thought, and then realized they'd had to opt round and get the cover. But at that point, you're already 30-40 seconds into the round. You've then got to spend another minute and a half trying to get the bodies out from above, and then from then you've still got to execute. It's just really, really well played and well positioned from Mkers.
I mean, even if we talk about that, right? But Elation was droned out pretty early on in that break room area, and you think that's a death trap, but I think Elation just said, you know, I just need to play my life here now. Like,
taking a break.
It's over, yeah.
Taking a break in the break room and finding bodies in the meantime. Setting themselves up for an armory hold. At first unsuccessful, and second, well, it just all kind of fell together with the information game that really revolutionized what they were doing, especially the early C4 kill. Valkyrie throwing the outside cameras and being ready for potentially more of this aggression that has so far definitely played into the favor of Mkers.
Yeah, no IQ from BDS on any of these rounds so far, so the Pulse and the Valkyrie pick definitely going to be pretty brutal, but I think BDS didn't ban the Valkyrie because they're going to use it themselves when they move on to the defense, and we're going to see a very heavy, aggressive BDS, but we will see if that does happen. But for now, I'm wondering if Baka still has a shotgun, but it's going to be Shaiko already making that entry and Elation off the board early on. That's that Pulse Nitro ban below, and how essential was that earlier before for Mkers?
Well, that's the thing. It really locks them down. And again, this is BDS responding to what is going wrong. They obviously saw that the C4 went in. At this point, previously, there were 2 bodies in CCTV and 1 had already been blown up. And now they've realized, well, they're probably going to try that again. Shaiko, go underneath, get the entry, and then that allows us to enter once we're a bit more comfortable. But BDS are droning. They're being cautious, they're being steady, and they're allowing themselves to get a bit of a better read on what Mkers are wanting to play here. And it's just, you know, it's working. It's their information game can be turned up to 11 if they're aware of that they need to do it.
Well, it's going to be a 5v4 still. BDS making slow and steady progress so far, but as I say that, Baka not using the shotgun this time, but with the MP7 will eliminate Shaiko, who went below to try and contest this area. It's like he's going to try and get refragged here, and another one. Baka almost getting another one here, but he's going to try and still bandit trick, still even in this, getting capital bullet from below, but he's going to get it. What?
That's the thing, and it's one of the things pointed out previously as well, as the timing on the Hibana pellets allow a bandit to take advantage of that pretty quickly. Ours finds RX, and Renshiro finishes off the very cooked backer, and now it's with the wall slightly open and another set of Hibana pellets able to potentially double down. They do have their entrance onto Armory. Ours, in the meantime, is not letting them come in, and there is Panics finding the pickup, trade for trade and beat for beat, as he holds the central staircase now, pops bullets and holds the man in the corner as they try and snake the diffuser in Rafale on the opposite side. But there is still at least 1 more body on, and BDS only have 40 seconds to try and make a play here.
Just know that Sloppy is down, and well, he's very, very low on metal, but there's going to be another one. 2 kills coming out from Torek there just to hold down the site from small offers, and Mkers will take the round, and things looking pretty good for them so far. But honestly, this isn't a bad scoreline at all for BDS. I think that maybe people were expecting this to be a little bit more one-sided, but Mkers is definitely keeping the pace up. I think if Mkers can take this round, then, you know, that's a pretty, you can be content with that, a 4-2 scoreline and border defense. But if BDS win this, that's going to put them at a big advantage going into the second half.
Yeah, the 3-3 on the split, and it's one of those always you kind of question things is, you know, are maps favored to a certain playstyle? Are maps favored to attack or defense? And it's always your defense that really gets tested. So there's a little bit of kind of comfort in knowing that you have a bit of a setup, you have a bit of a reliance. And say, for example, you take Shaiko, who is an exceptional fragger, and their entry. And so far, he's been the opening death at least once, and the opening frag twice, but that kind of play style is one that can, you know, it can have its dividends, because if he's the opening death, it can completely slow down what you're attempting. And, you know, you've got to realize that when you're on the defense, even if Shaiko gets taken care of, if Shaiko's playing the Jaeger and he gets dropped, or he's playing the Valkyrie and he gets dropped, at that point you assume that he's done all that he needs to do. So if he gets a kill and then dies, or he dies straight away, there's still all of his utility left to try and kind of get through, and it plays into that kind of pocket of that playstyle better, and that's where BDS might be able to find a bit more home comfort on their defense.
Yeah, I think I agree with you as well, and not only that, but talking about the Valkyrie as well, that BDS very, very commonly ban Valkyrie during the Challenger League season on border. They haven't banned it here, so I feel like we're just going to see a super aggressive, especially with the Dokkaebi ban as well, just a super aggressive defense from BDS, where they're just going to be jumping out everywhere. They're going to rely on those Valkyrie cameras outside. Hopefully MKs will realize that and bring an IQ themselves. BDS haven't brought an IQ at all, and I think it's really been punishing them, honestly.
Yeah, they've bought the same loadout every single time. They're just running it, whether it's successful or not. And again, how much of that plays into not really wanting to show stuff otherwise, but they're just comfortable. Rafale opens up the frags against Sloppy, and they start to make their way across. Half health. Jaeger's not the biggest loss in the world, and Sloppy hasn't had the best game so far, but again, there's still a whole defense to get through. Ours, in the meantime, has had some pretty good rounds, being able to get the opening frag twice, and is ready and willing with that Alder, holding on the back of 90 in second, seeing if they can get some pressure. Panics is trying to find the body, who is just watching over the top of AC, and that fight could be one that kind of swings the entire round.
Shaiko going to push through Red Hole, still expecting someone to peek through onto 90, but trying to find his way into offense as well. We've still got plenty of time to left in the round, and BDS actually have a lot of control. RX able to pinch out Ours there, and BDS now securing that upstairs control as we move along. But Renshiro's actually going to get downed here. Hopefully RX should be able to trade him, but things aren't looking so good for Mkers. They lost a lot of that vertical control, and RX should be able to get the pick here, but no! So low! Torok is going to move out, and he's going to survive with his life. This is not too good for BDS. They're not able to capitalize on these kills. They really should. Shaiko, however, is going to save his teammate. Elation going to go down. It's all down to Torok and Baka to bring this in.
Well, Torok leaning back into the aggression to try and double up Baka on the top floor, and this is all they have at this point. The Nomad charge goes off on central stairs, might be able to hear it, but so far there's not been a response. There's a great C4 tear, and it doesn't quite catch the footsteps of the Ash, who is, well, hard to catch so far, swinging around and looking for the firefight. In the meantime, Baka creeps round against 90 and finds one, goes aggressive and tries to find the second, and does! There is another one in the favor of Baka, but RX has dropped Torok in and amongst that. 50 seconds that they don't even need as BDS lock it off at 3-3 at the turn of the half.
Yeah, really good half there for BDS. I would think that ending 3-3, you would think that, you know, you'd be pretty happy with that, honestly. I think MK is definitely at a big disadvantage now going into their attack phase. They've really got to step it up if they want to bring this in. I'm definitely expecting a Valkyrie pick every round from BDS.
I mean, yeah. Obviously, when you've already kind of looked at what they haven't been bringing, what they've been banning, there it is. RX is straight on the Valkyrie. And the thing is, I guess we're going to see if there's a little bit of difference in the operators selected. Because previously, every single attack, as we said, they've generally been bringing the same operators beat for beat. At the same time, yes, MKers were bringing similar loadouts, but they were shifting them from time to time. They're also doubling up on operators. We saw the Maestro worked by a couple of different hands to varying levels of success on the side of MKers. So, you know, it's how much of this is BDS just trying to run this as a frag match, and how much of this is them going to start, I guess, trying to test MKers.
I think it's a little bit both. BDS wanted to go to customs first, however, is definitely an interesting prospect. It's definitely, you know, always good, especially on a map like Border, to want to go to this offsite first of all, just to kind of throw your opponent off a little bit, because I feel like if you go to this offsite when they expect you to go to it, your chances of winning it are a lot less than when you don't expect it offsite when you go to it first. So we'll see how this does go down for BDS and how the first pick of the offsite does go through for them. So far, things kind of looking as we expected for BDS.
Yes and no. I think what we're seeing is them just kind of running it. They're throwing themselves at the map. They're trying to find bodies. There's great drone work. There's that communication, which comes from a team and tier of that kind of history and skill. But that's your second nature. That's what a lot of other teams run in their practice. And once you've got it down, it becomes, you know, just part of your course of running yourself at a map. This is, again, we're going to see them with a bit more free-flowing attitude as they set themselves up for the defense. 3 bodies above, and Renshiro on central stairs now above as well, shows just how aggressive they're going to hold this as a top down, as we'll see if MKers can read into this and how they're going to respond. The Ash and the Nomad gives me the impression that they're going to try and take it in a similar way and let Sloppy try and entry your way across and at least find a couple of bodies. But as we saw in the BDS swing on this, if you don't clear top, well, you ain't cleared nothing at all.
Yeah, no, you are completely right there. You do need that CC control. And we did see that from BDS as well. They did the work there. And we'll see exactly how quickly they're able to clear this. Don't forget as well, not only do you need this control, you need it early on, really. We saw how devastating it was when we saw a really early roam game come out from MKers and how devastating it was when they managed to waste a lot of time on it. Elation could be pushing through into Archives and trying to do the clear this way through onto Armory, trying to contest that area. But we do see RX is going to be holding it all down. So no kills going out just yet. MKs are wasting a lot of time here to try and get really no control right now over where the defense is.
Yeah, they're setting themselves up for some potential crossfires. He shields, but there's nobody behind it. The man actually rotates as they turn away, but there's, again, so many angles currently being held by BDS. There's even the guns from beneath pointing above. MKers are throwing everything they can at this top floor from every different possible side. Yeah, until they can find their first pick, they can't really get anywhere with it. They're like the hard wall to the right, which proves the point of we are holding Armory. You've got to come and take it. And Renshiro on this central stairs is looking for the long firefights all the way across Fountain towards offices, which doesn't allow them any ground upstairs. They've extended their defense, sure, as Rafal finds the opening against ours, but in a way that's just gunfire and gun skills. Sloppy gets Shaiko and RX gets Backer as they steadily find their way towards the central 90 side. The Ash and the Habana trying to double down against the one man left in CC, but they can't quite see him yet, and he's just going to creep in, and will they get the frag here? There is the smoke able to lock it down and put another body on his roster, and Rafal able to hold this down. With 20 seconds left in a 4-2, I feel like we're about to see ourselves on a BDS win.
Definitely isn't good. ADS is going to catch the flashbang of Torok here. He's going to desperate to try and this smoke, but Rafal's disappeared out of it. There's a 3K coming out from Rafal. The round is looking good right now, as Elation is the last one remaining for Mkers in a 1v4 to try and bring it in. Can't even film the kill, and Rafal brings out the pistol, but no, BDS will take the round, and that is a decisive win for them as well, and a very important round.
I think one of the things that kind of, I guess, exemplified how much MKers were struggling with BDS's hold there is they were throwing flashes against ADSs that still hadn't really been burnt. They've found bodies, but everything was unsure because every single time they thought they had the angle on BDS's strategy, there was another BDS player. It was this string, and you try and find the end of it, and there wasn't. It was an infinite loop of French bloodshed, and it's a tough thing to break past. Heading to bathroom tellers, still not opting for the two standard first 2 points. They're keeping themselves in a bit of creative space here, and hey, it worked very well previously. Can you double down?
You know, it definitely did work out quite well previously, and yeah, it is a double down, I suppose. You go to both the offsites here. BDS are looking to be very, very aggressive here, but surprisingly not bringing a Valkyrie this round. I'll be honest, I don't think it worked out too well for them. I don't think that they got that much info from the IQ, from the Valkyrie, and they noticed that MKers were bringing that IQ. They've since moved off of that, but yeah, I guess I'm like not too upset by this. I think that, you know, this lineup also works quite well as well, especially for holding triple wall, because Cade can hold that triple wall quite well. There's no Maverick coming out, there's no Thatcher coming out from MKers, so the Cade can be a beautiful pick here.
Yeah, and I think, as you said, it's this level of, yes, the Valkyrie can be super important, but only when played it well. RX suffers a shoulder of damage. I think that was from Renshiro above, doing some groundwork and taking care of the vertical even. But as you said, it was more they just had the beat on MKers and every movement they were making without needing the Valkyrie cameras because of the way they'd set themselves up to cover almost every single entrance on the second floor. And MKers kind of just, well, they filtered themselves into the BDS defense. Curious to see if MKers double down and try and take something a little bit more singularly. One thing to worth note was how spread out they were on their previous attack up here.
Yeah, they were quite spread out. They didn't manage to quite clear out CC, and also they didn't manage to get any kills in there. But talking about kills, Shaiko is going to pick up the opening kill onto Elation already. That book off the board, and that's Nade gone as well with him. MK is not looking too good here.
Well, the bullets are popped over the shoulder towards 90, and nothing's caught as of yet. Panics holding the pixel and waiting for someone to drift across, but in the meantime, this is standard par for the course BDS. Ours goes down. It is Zephyr, so can withstand if need be, but it's a dangerous place to try, and you'll probably prefer to have the pickup to get the extra health from of it. BDS have suffered little bits of damage here and there, but otherwise been able to find themselves in slightly nicer places. As Backer, talking of, finds the body of Shaiko and is deep inside. Pops the Nomad charge to stop the quick swing round, and they're gonna blow open the small box room and again keep pre-firing and applying more and more pressure as they see fit. They need to get the bandit out of here, and they need to start clearing across this top floor, and this is the more concentrated push that we were missing in the previous round from MKers.
It's definitely going to be very, very difficult to push him out of here because the bandit has of course got this wall bandited. Can't get it open, there's no Buck, there's no Thatcher. You're kind of out of options to push him out. You've really just got to push up, but he's got that crossfire coming out from Archives as well. Renshiro holding it down, and Panic's holding it down from Archives with him with a prone angle. So MKers are really wasting a lot of time here right now. They're going to be joining our workshop and seeing what they can do here instead to try and push around somewhere else. We see the crouch walking Sloppy coming down through downstairs below into Harry Potter to see if he can do a little bit of work on the site. It's going to be Hours who picks up that very important kill to make a little bit of room for maneuvering here from MKers.
Well, with Renshiro bringing a bit of balance back, it is still an open space now in a lot more of the top floor. He's pulled away from the central stairs as Backer is going to try and swing around, and whether the drones are up to date at this point, as Kaid is playing the close corner and unfortunately not takes care of Backer, who's been a big part of keeping the minutes. Sloppy at least finds Rafal on the far side, but yet again Renshiro is back to balance it off. Hits the Claymore that he didn't see, and RX finds Torok, so it is a 1 versus 1, and Mkers, the crouch walking Ash, through the center of the building, snuck like a spy, and found some bodies.
What a throw from Renshiro. I can't believe he didn't see the Claymore there. That was a huge mistake coming out from him, but yeah, big sloppy mistakes coming out there right at the end, and yeah, Sloppy himself being able to do a little bit of work there at the end.
Crouch walking Ashes, they're a danger. They're a dangerous thing sometimes, and I think that's what it worked really well there, is instead of trying to find the firefight and the end of the string, they had all this attention, and Sloppy kind of went, well, here's some open ground. I'm just going to try and see what happens if I make my way, because we know that there's 4 bodies upstairs. We've started to collapse upon them, taken 1, taken 2, and forced, you know, the rotation. They still are vertical, but I guess it was a bit of a misplay from Renshiro. If he still had control above, with the guns that he had as well, to be able to open any bit of floor that he wanted to with the shotgun, and only about 20 seconds left on the timer, that would have been their round, and oh no, there's Claymores.
It's unfortunate. It's unfortunate. It can be hard to see Claymores there, but we'll see how things do go down and see how they progress as we move into round number 9, and we still haven't seen a core sight from BDS yet.
10 seconds left.
I mean, yeah, they're happy to kind of keep the roll going on the creativity, and so far it's mixed results, I think. They're still kind of, you know, they're setting themselves up with these covers and setting themselves up with these pre-fires well. Good rotation, obviously, from Renshiro to go from those central stairs to head back towards the officer's side and kind of, you know, fill in the blanks of where they lose players. I think that's always a good thing to see from a team, is being able to kind of sub in, and when bodies start to drop, have the ability to double down on the cover where you need it most. Here comes the pressure from Mkers with a little bit more pace here. They're already making their way in towards Break Room and CC, and it seems like they want to try and hit BDS a bit on the back foot.
Toro going to be moving up through CC and see what he can do, and yes, you are right, pushing on that back foot. And still, big issue missing from the Mkers roster here is, of course, that Thatcher. It's going to be very, very hard to clear the bandit out of the small office here and to be able to do really any work on that. We do still have Elation up on the board, and if he can get in below, or if he can use these nades effectively, he can definitely do a little bit of work himself.
Well, Panic still setting up and was holding that as a crouch angle before. Flash grenades pop off above, and they're trying to apply that instant pressure, and who falls first could be the maker of the rest of the round, because obviously Shaiko was the initial death, and from then on it seemed to be a pretty balanced pick and trade system. Backer yet again with some aggression that's really generally been swinging swinging MKers into BDS and finding more and more bodies. Gets all the way to the half-wall side where he managed to pick off a bold Ash previously, and Torok is trying to find the cover on the shoulder, almost wanting to bait the body out of Bandit and the person on the sandwich wall as well, but so far they are not biting. BDS are happy to hold, and Sloppy crouch walks his way in, finds 1, finds 2. Shaiko unable to react to the Ash that is currently found a bit of a beat. 5-1. Suddenly we're staring at the barrel of a flawless round.
Oh my god. What was that? That is Ash maining, and we talk about Shaiko and we talk about Ash and we talk about just pushing in, but that was Sloppy. That wasn't Shaiko. He just moved in and he just murdered those people. Those people have families, Fluke.
Yeah, well, Ash does not care. Ash has people to kill, and we're going to head to Customs. Again, we're going to take this, and this was a very, very good hold from BDS, and that just from their positioning alone kind of locked out MK as Lion on the board for the first time today. Potentially going to be 6th pick, there's always the possibility, but as I said, if there's a team that's changing what they're doing, it is definitely the MK as Zafia is the swap from Lion. Doesn't bait anything on the side of BDS that has been, I think Stoic is a fair way in terms of their operator selection.
BDS just do not want to go to a core site. They will refuse until it is match point to go to Armory. They will continue to go to off sites. They're going to go back to Customs. We'll see how this is going to play out for them, but Yeah, not looking too good for BDS all of a sudden, although you could argue they went to Bathroom Towers twice in a row, which is definitely the worst site on this map without a mirror, and yeah, it didn't work out for them. But Mkers, you know, it kind of looks like for a while that they're stalling, but what they're doing is they're just playing the time until their flankers can come in and they can shut it all down. So Sloppy did a really good job there at the entry, but being able to play that patiently and be able to, like, you know, throw out the occasional flashbang, or shoot the occasional drone, or just do something to just let your presence be known, so they're worrying about you and they're not worrying about Sloppy running up messy stairs.
I think the thing about it was as well is obviously Baka was coming in with a bit of furious energy. Jaco's holding the spawn peak angle with the ACOG and seeing if he can find any bodies. And, you know, able to be that aggressive on that wall and not have any response from BDS, and then for someone to come in and find 2 more bodies, and look at the aggression already coming in from underneath. They're not wasting any time, MKers. They've realized what needs to happen here is they need to apply some intense pressure, and Sloppy is kind of leading that as well. And in a way, they're drawing a bit of attention away from the Ash to find some ground and find some bodies, and, you know, the strategy is working. Hold previously on this, as we said, was very, very good from BDS, but it was against a very different MKers. There's a little bit more aggression as Shaiko opens up the frags and takes care of Baka again, who's been a big part of, as you said, kind of drawing attention so the flankers can find their flank.
Yeah, the heavy CC hold coming out once again from BDS, and before from Mkers, they just got torn apart here. As, yeah, it looks like they're just going to continue to get torn apart. Torok is going to get revived on this E-stairs here, but he's already taken a decent amount of damage. They're trying to push in through offices now, trying to get open this archives wall and just trying to slowly do that damage across the board, but they still really haven't managed to get a frag, and Renshiro, talking about getting frags, is going to pick up one of his own onto 90.
Well, this is BDS being a bit aggressive. They're actually swinging into firefights this time and swinging into angles, and you compare that to the previous thing where I don't even think Shaiko moved after seeing his boy get cut in half inside the small box room. And, you know, this is kind of what you expect to see more. Sloppy still on a bit of a roll, manages to find Renshiro and takes a fair bit of damage, but on the far side, Hours goes down to Panics inside CC, and now they've got to rotate. But with a minute 15 on, there is so much time left in this round. However, the 2 MKers players are half health between them, so it's not a great position to be in when they've still got a lot of work left to do.
2v4 situation, as you said, MK is not looking too good here. Both very, very low HP. We've seen Sloppy do the work before in previous rounds. We'll see if he can continue that trend. Droning comes out into vents and see if this kind of progression is free. Of course, that heavy CC horde is still there. They've still got a lot of control upstairs, and they should be able to shut any aggression down into the site with that vertical play. So things not looking too good for MKs because they haven't been able to clear any of that out yet. But they'll try, regardless, to open up all these castle barricades and push in through the backside.
RX holding steadfast above and is in a good position to collapse behind, but might not even need to. You see them drop and take the firefight, I say. Might not need to, but does anyway. Gets the last kill, shuts down the round with 20 seconds left. There's the drop. Should have kind of got picked up there, but is able to do a little bit of a 180 kill.
Yeah, I think this is now starting to look a little bit more like BDS than we were looking like before, and they will go finally to a core site. We're going to see a ventilation room and workshop coming out from BDS, and once again picking up the Valkyrie. I was kind of hoping they would hide the Valkyrie and then 6-pick onto it.
I mean, it could work, but the thing about MK, it depends where they put the cameras, because obviously the kind of go-to on this is external cameras. Where we've seen a lot of these firefights from the side of BDS is inside the building. They've kind of let them come in, let them get a bit of ground, and then drop it. But the 6th pick to the Mozzie.
Well, okay, so now I take it back, because if that was their intention to start with, now they've baited out an IQ 6th pick. So now they've taken utility away from MKers, just with a little bit of that trick, and Jackal no longer being brought. So there's no longer any of the smoke grenades. And again, from MKers, no Thatcher coming out from them. So it's going to be hard for them to do this upstairs clear, but we'll see how this vent hold does go down. But BDS looking pretty good to take this, but it's still actually pretty even.
Yeah, I mean, that's the thing. MKers have really shown up with an energy that I think is, well, shown in the round count. When they find their way through, they're so happy and confident to keep a roll going, especially players like Sloppy and especially players like Baka, who have just continually been able to find themselves in and amongst the BDS defense with a little bit of fear, but a lot of plucky gun skill and the ability to keep finding bodies and then just keep pushing and pushing and applying pressure and force BDS, as I said before, onto the back foot. But 5-5, we edge ever closer to the end of the game. Somebody's got to at least find a bit of a swing. It has been consistently back and forth between these two teams, taking 2 rounds apiece.
Yeah, it has been quite back and forth so far. But we've seen BDS just go to so many offsides, and I feel like they've kind of thrown a lot of these defenses away that they really ought to have won by now. But now we see a call site coming out from them, and really on this particular site, there's maybe 3 ways you can take it. You can go from the bathroom side, you can go upstairs from the armory side, or you can go straight for like a detention, customs to vents take. And it looks like this is mostly a backside take coming from Mkers, but they're going to go for that office side clear to start with, so maybe an upstairs take. Almost a great shot from Backer up onto this office angle.
Well, trying to pull off the highlight reel worthy stuff here, but doesn't look like the Jaeger's going to fall for it, and they're just going to pull back and have to double down on what they're doing. Mkers, this is weirdly to say the slowest they've been so far, but they're up against what is arguably a tougher point to take now. So they've got to be a little bit more formulaic about it. Rafal is playing above point with Shaika holding down on offices, and I like where Panics and RX have decided to double down inside custom side and make sure that they keep this kind of flat control. Renshiro has found the same firing line he had previously, waiting for a rotation from Fountain. Is in a great position, as we've seen him do before, to replace teammates or double down on them, the ones that start to find themselves underneath the pressure from Mkers. They've generally opted for this southeastern side push, with Sloppy repelling inside open, which is quite a bold place.
Yeah, no, this is definitely a bold play coming out from him. We'll see how this is going to be pushing through, but I like Sloppy doing this because he does have hours on the other side to cover him, and, you know, we've got Backer outside to be able to cover his other angles. So I think he's just doing this mainly just to clear CC, and looks like they should be pretty content with the fact that it is now indeed clear. Torek should be able to try to push in here, but this upstairs is looking very squiffy. Like, I would be very hesitant to push into here, but it's going to be Hours who picks up that entry kill. Shaiko already off the board as Hours pushes through onto 90, cuts off that rotation through Metal, and this is actually looking much better for Mkers now.
Well, they threw so much time and hesitation and being able to drop the bodies upstairs, and let's see if they can make it work in this final 30 seconds. As you said before, they're a team that is happy and comfortable to wait for the flankers to flank, and there it is. Hours finds, well, no, doesn't find it as Rafal finds Torek. In the meantime, Sloppy at least puts a body back in their favor against RX, but with 20 seconds and bullets coming from underneath, it throws off the aim as they approach the heartfall, and the shotgun spray can't quite find the second there, but in the 2-2 with 10 seconds on, and the diffuser cold and Buck even colder, this looks like we're heading to match point BDS.
Backer gonna fall off and try and go through the front door and see what he can do here in the last 3 seconds, but it's just not meant to be. He can't get that front door open quick enough, and BDS are gonna win by time in round number 11, and you are right, it is gonna be match point to BDS here on our first map, but a lot closer map than I think anyone would have expected. Even if we don't head to overtime, I think we can all say that MKers have done a dang good job of this. I was kind of expecting this to be a blowout for BDS, but I'm more interested in the second map of Clubhouse, because that is definitely a better map for Mkers. And, you know, we haven't seen a lot of BDS play Clubhouse, so I think this needs to go to the full length if Mkers really want to stand a chance of taking this series, but I think they have a decent chance to take Clubhouse if they keep playing like this.
Clash pick on the armory point. Obviously, this has been a point that they've kept secret the entire time. They have baited out the Kaid, which has been a big angle holder, and obviously the electronics on the wall means that they, well, don't have any now. They're just going to, I guess, throw the Clash as a bit of aggression. Capitao isn't on the board, which buys her some breathing room, but you are still up against Zafir and Ash as a minimum. There's the frag grenades too. If the Jaeger isn't quite offering the same cover you might be able to dream of as a Clash player, so I guess we'll see if the coordination from Mkers, which is, as we said, been pretty succinct so far in setting up the flankers, able to funnel themselves towards the Clash and take her out of the equation. She's an operator. The longer she's left alive, well, that 30 seconds, minute in the end just becomes very tough.
10 seconds left.
So, BDS, match point for them, and they are going to go to that also known core site of the Armory Lockers and Archives. So it should be a good setup from coming out from them. I'm going to say, Rafal has done such a great job of shutting down these attacks on Mute and Smoke. He's Every time he's been just holding down that single angle, he's been doing a great job, but Panic's going to be peeking up behind RX, is going to take his head clean off by Sloppy. And Sloppy, again, has just been one of those really good fraggers overall for Mkers.
Well, Shaiko with the run out drops Elation, and that is the buck off the board. A pretty big take, but there's still quite a lot of soft destruction still available to them. Now they've got to find a way to try and close down, and you know, there's still a lot of work left to do. They've done half the wall and kept the other as a point where they can peek to apply, I guess, some ability to shut that down. But again, with the utility that is in the pockets of Mkers, they can make quick work of those ADSs and then theoretically the shield behind. However, Shaiko is not allowing that. Hibana off the table is a very big pick because that means those hard walls are staying hard and they're going to have to try and funnel themselves against a BDS firing line. 3v4 even right now for Mkers. Not looking too good for them right now, but they still have plenty of time to work with and plenty of utility of their own as well. They should be able to get that control as well. They've eliminated that CC control, and they should be able to start to push in now. They do know that there is indeed a smoke playing behind the shield, and they should be able to eliminate that shield with Zofia charges, and yes, they have done so. Clash, however, is going to move in as a little bit of a backup here. Well, I quite like where Clash is, well, I say as she just charges forward and aggressively holds it. Where Clash was playing would mean that if she was hit by a Zofia charge, normally it's the ankles and the feet you spray at, and she would at least be able to hide those behind the half wall. There it is, the animation forces her out, but there's so much ground still in between and that she's able to just kind of shrug it off and keep moving, and it's going to become the replacement wall here and slow down anything they attempt to do. That is, well, only one lifeline left in the pocket and all the air jabs down in other places, so they're going to have to try and find a way for Sloppy to crouch walk in behind and start to find bodies. But the time ticks to a minute. Can Mkers execute?
Yeah, ooh, Sloppy just goes for the peek and he gets one, he gets two! Sloppy just eliminates BDS's defense here as Ours moves in and gets another one. Rafal goes down, it's all down to Ranchero in a 3v1 if he doesn't want to send this to overtime. Backer going to start to planting near to lockers and see how this is going to go down. MK is pretty confident with this one. The peak comes out, MK take round number 12, and we're going to overtime on our very first map of Border.
Sloppy, crouch walk to glory. Through there.
It's just how he's managed to get so many of his kills, and you got to think at this point, where is BDS's flank watch?
Yeah, like we did say, obviously in that position, it was really just BDS's to lose. The Clash was playing super aggressive against the wall there, and you know, Sloppy being able to find the Clash from the same way that they've done a run out previously, and then Shaiko not being able to pick that body back up and suffering the same fate. It just kind of, you know, it's missed tricks and little mistakes from the side of BDS. Opting to, now they've got the flip of the coin and they're going to start on customs on their defense, which, you know, has been 2 good wins from their side, but...
This is literally Sloppy versus Shaiko right now. Shaiko is 10-9, but Sloppy's 13-7. He's done such a great job on that flank entry for his team so far. BDS just haven't shut him down at all. As we've been saying the whole time, the crouch walking Ash. And what's even more mind-blowing about this is we've seen 6 attack wins and 6 defense wins. This has been completely even-sided so far. So who knows how this is going to go down. We're going to go back to customs. BDS have actually done a pretty good job here so far of holding that CC area above and completely stalling out the MK's attack. This has definitely been BDS's most successful site. But this is very dangerous now. We're in overtime. Because MKs have a real shot at taking this, because even if they lose this round, they could definitely take their defense, and then they've got to attack one of the 3 sites that they've already successfully attacked so far.
Yeah, and that's the thing about it as well, is they're also staring down the potential of the map 2 being in their favor. Obviously, this was the map that BDS wanted to swing to on Border, and I guess it's worked in the favor of MK as Shaiko yet again trying to hold the angle and get the man as they approach, but they're not quite falling for that MK as they drone ahead, and they're not going to suffer that immediate loss because BDS have been attempting this a few times so far. Got to give them credit for the spirit, but if it works, well, shame on MK as Backer looking for the long-range firefight, but creeps around the back of the van and finds themselves in a semblance of safety here. Has the air jabs to prep for the run-outs and jump-outs and offer themselves a little bit of cover, and It's going to keep them in a little bit of semblance of control. But to be fair, the runouts haven't been really what BDS have been doing. It's holding angles and waiting for moments like this. 3 bodies and guns not too far away.
Last round they did run out quite a decent amount, but you are right, across the entire map so far, they haven't been actually too aggressive. Looks like we are going to see a little bit more movement coming out from their side, but lots of droning coming out from Mkers to try and eliminate this armory horde to start with, before they start to move in on the rest of the map. Ours pushing down Red Hole, like he has been doing before, but last time he did this, he did an IQ push. This time he's Zofia, slowly crouch walking through Red Hole and getting control of the shield. He's got the cross as well. This is looking really good. This is a great position for Ours to be in right now, and I don't think they know he's here.
No, and that's really, really nice movement. Swings and finds Rafal, who had otherwise been a big thorn in the side, but doesn't see the Maestro. It's actually the cover from the Monitor's side that is able to drop off. Shaiko and RX finding bodies apiece, but Sloppy still here, still fighting and still killing as he takes care of RX on the flip side. They now have the Jaeger and the smoke off the table and a minute 10 to formulate their execute, which so far has been very good and consistent from the side of Mkers. They still need to get the body out from above and get complete vertical control before they can have a semblance of operating safely, but they're at least dropping utility in the meantime.
Mkers still have a lot of time to deal with this kind of setup, but they've really got to clear Shaiko out of CC, and sooner rather than later. NESs are going to get burned right now, and Shaiko's going to be a little bit more worrisome about how he's going to defend here. But this horseshoe area, it's so hard to find a kill through here, and yeah, the ACOG's definitely going to help him a little bit here in this fight. Looks like he's just going to try and go for the fight or die, but he's going to get flanked and taken down. Easy as that. Shaiko is out of it, and that CC control is now for Mkers. But, you know, when you don't have a lot of time to deal with this kind of vertical play, it's not good. They've only got 25 seconds left to go.
Well, the flank watch, as we said, has been pretty exceptional from the side of Mkers so far. Being able to just pinpoint and pincer has repeatedly been a big part of their arsenal. 10 seconds on the board. They start to drop down to the floor, and there is one in the hide of Ranchiro, but the trade comes out yet again. One man up advantage. Sloppy is low health. There is a bit of a pistol firefight. Has to rotate off. It's going to play for time, and Hibana can't quite catch the man. Panics!
Oh my
With the
god!
double kill gets Sloppy and Torok.
How does that happen? He bumped into the person who was planting the diffuser. That is, that's not good. Bit of a disaster there for Mkers. I thought for sure, as soon as they killed Ranchiro in the site, that round was theirs. But yeah, just a little bit of a fumble there at the end. Panics to win the 1v2 to bring it in. And overtime, a match point we will be going to. But I still think, honestly, that this is still Mkers' game with the way that the scoreline has been going.
Yeah,
Armory Lockers has been a great defense for them.
Yeah, they've taken it twice on the defense. The first time BDS took them a bit by surprise. The second time, well, they responded. And the third was a bit of firefight between the pair, but they came out on top. What I'm curious to see, and it looks like I might get a bit of an answer, is what BDS changed in their attacks. Because as we said, every single attack, they were exactly the same operator-wise. They didn't change at all. Oh, they're going to keep the same.
It's the classic.
6th to 6th.
6th to 6th. So, Nomad is still going to be brought here. We'll see what the rest of this is going to be going for BDS wise. They need to lock this out right now, because I honestly think that if Mkers win this round, they'll win the whole map and maybe even the series, honestly, because if they take this first map and they keep playing like this, I think they have a really good chance of taking Clubhouse, because it's been a great map for them. As I said, they're already 2-0 up in it during the PG Nationals, and they've just had such a dominant time here so far as well. Like, I don't think anyone expected it to be this close.
No. And what is really winning them through for me, as I've said, is just the teamwork and the coordination. They're so good at finding out where BDS are playing and then just coordinating the push and running that alongside the time. Really, that last point is one of the only ones we've seen them struggle in the dying 10 seconds to get a body out. But otherwise, they have been consistently able to just keep finding flanks, finding the weak spot, and then completely exploiting it from BDS, who so far, energy levels-wise, just haven't really doubled down the same way that we've seen Mkers manage.
Well, we'll see what BDS really wants to do here, but Mkers, as we said, have had a really successful time of holding down Armory. BDS haven't had a great job, honestly, of doing this, and as you said as well, they've been bringing in the same lineup every single attack, and they're going to continue to do that as well, even if it hasn't worked. Elation below, of course, with that Nitro, and he's been pretty successful with that as well with the Pulse and with the Info. Mkers have opted not to bring the Valkyrie, though, this time. They have been bringing the Cade.
Yeah, they're going to try and hold onto the wall with a little bit more sincerity than previously. And yeah, this was something that we saw them actually attempt from the side of back. It was even in amongst all of the Capitao smoke and all of that, they're desperately trying to keep the armory wall. They don't want that to fall to BDS, and I guess it begs the question, are BDS going to find a different way of responding? Shaiko previously has jumped in, but there is a man to Shaiko's left here, so if he's not paying too much attention and they get the opening frag without the man behind you in vents, this could quickly turn to a quick trade here. There's at least the immediate pressure underneath Baka, and it's going to swing out of there and put more pre-fires, but there is RX dropped by Baka through the floor. Doesn't find one, but Shaiko finds Elation. The pulse is off the table, and now it's yet again in a bit of a tough situation. However, the wall is open in their favor, and Mkers have to fall back towards point.
Baka has just been playing this bandit so well and so aggressive around this armory wall. He's never been caught out for it, and he's almost always got a kill out of it. So from that first round he brought the shotgun, but other than that he's done really well around it. We see a 4v4 situation developing right now. MK is looking very good to try and hold on to this. He's still got lots of utility on the board, but there's still a lot of time left for BDS to try and bring this in for themselves. They've got the wall open, as you said. That's their entry. They now need to start thinking about what they want to do elsewhere.
Well, Hours holding the angle as someone gets nominated, and that's just sloppy from Baka there, able to be taken down on the side, and that could be a big moment. The smoke canisters are popped, and Rafale charges in to try and get the plant down. You can see the body underneath, though, rotating towards central stairs. Maestro swings wide to try and stop it, and Hours finds panic, and the C4 finds a second, but Shaiko, with the cover, is concerned about the run out. Here's a Nomad go off, and now it is just Shaiko versus 2. They are both pushing straight in front of the man, pre-fires the angle, just has to eat time here, but it's going to take it really aggressively, and it works. Down to a 1 versus 1 for them to take it to one more map. Half the diffuser time and half health left on Sloppy. Can Shaiko pull this together?
This is literally Sloppy versus Shaiko right now. Flashbang does go in from Shaiko. He's gonna know that he's on the diffuser. Sloppy knows he has to push this into Africa. He gets the kill! Are you kidding me right now? And Sloppy should be able to defuse it. And we're going to maximum overtime. What just happened?
Defenders have disabled the bomb diffuser.
Sloppy, you have been such a big part of MKers this time around, and it has been exceptional to see that obviously come down to the 1 versus 1 there.
Let's just go back a bit. Go back in time. Season 8 Challenger League, End Gaming, now MKers, same roster, well, almost same roster, just a few changes since then. Make 4th place in Challenger League, but fall to Empire in playoffs, and then the next season, their Challenger League wasn't so great for them, and they were unable to requalify this season as well. They've gone to PG Nationals, they've done very well for themselves in PG Nationals, having won the last season, but other than that, MKs have kind of fallen off as a roster. And now we just see them. This is the revenge tour. If they knock BDS out of these OGA quals, that's going to be a huge upset.
Yeah, and they are trying with all of their might, and so far, as we said, the energy levels they're bringing, the tenacity and the aggression is just really stretching the giant of BDS right now in probably some of the most stressful play I think we've seen them, one of the most stressful positions we've seen them in a very long time. Because if you look through their CL games, you know, they've got a couple of draws, but they've been pretty consistently confident. And here it just seems like MKers keep finding holes and ways to pull the rounds back to their favor. 7-7 OT match point. This is the second time out of the entire OGA course so far we've actually been in this situation. It's only ever come to this once before.
It's funny because at the start we said that, oh yeah, we're expecting a lot of quick games. We're expecting, you know, this is low seed versus high seed at the start. You know, this is going to be the blur games. But we're already the first game of the day. My first cast of OGA close calls, and we've already gone to maximum OT.
Yeah, OGA quals where everything is crazy. Statistics are made and then remade and broken and rebroken, and we're just kind of here for the ride. And I think today is the halfway point, I believe, of the closed quals.
Yeah. So, moving through now, we'll go to overtime, a match point, maximum overtime. Mkers really have to prove themselves here on this attack if they want to bring this in. They've been pretty successful so far. We'll see if they'll able to break this down so far. I'm assuming that BDS are going to be very, very aware of the inevitable sloppy crouch walking flank that does come through. That's just been tearing them apart on almost every single round. Flashbangs are coming into triple wall to make sure they can try and open this up. But there is a mute jammer on it still. That is kind of halting the progress for Mkers here right now, but they're going to rotate Elation around, and the flashbang went through to confirm the presence of 0 ADS, but Elation taking a few hits there, but is going to be able to nade this mute jammer out, and they should be able to get triple wall open.
Well, Backer is holding the angle. We saw him dance around before, but are BDS going to fall for it? You can see the Jaeger aggressively pushing inside Fountain on the far side against Ours, and, well, it comes to fruition. The first body falls to the hands of Shaiko, who creeps closer and closer towards the open hole here. Again, wants to take this with so much aggression. Another body is there to rotate and pick up, and Sloppy finds RX. In the meantime, the battle, the kind of never-ending war between Sloppy and Shaiko just keeps getting more bodies put on the tally. Shaiko's going to rotate underneath and find a way around towards metal stairs, eastern stairs, as they start to crack open the vertical control.
Archives walls being opened up by Mkers, and that's going to give Torek this insanely long sightline. And we saw BDS do something similar, but talking about BDS, Shaiko has moved to retake East Stairs. He's taken out his rival of Sloppy, and he's waiting for the trade as well. Shaiko could be peeking out, almost finding one, but instantly getting traded out. So both the heavy fraggers from both teams are off the board now, and now it's going to be the rest up to them to see exactly what they can do. Torek, Elation, and Backer to try and bring this in. BDS still holding down the site. They're doing pretty well for themselves. They've still got Nitros up on the board as well. Still got a low utility. But there's a lot of time for Mkers to start to bring this in, but they're running out of it.
Backer creeping the way across. Again, a player that is generally lit up quite well for Mkers and able to find some ground, and at the moment is the only one with all of his health still intact. Drops for the rotation to try and find as the consistent pings spot the bodies of BDS inside, but they have their crossfires set up, and Renshiro doesn't care. From deep finds two. Backer, a player I said who it kind of brings it to, is all that's left, but BDS take map 1 in what was almost reminiscent of the Rocky movies in the big standoff towards the big fraggers in the pair. Now, obviously, that is just one of a best of 3, and I guess we'll see how it comes to fruition. Good showing from Mkers. We're going to head on to your home territory and your home turf. We will see you after the advert break for a spin around Clubhouse.